Okay, it took me a while to do this video because I was thinking of giving you tips for you to improve in your language skills. And yet I could do that. I could give you tips, like very, very specific tips. Yet I decided to do something a little bit different. I'm going to tell you my story. And I think that through my story, you're going to learn how to improve. Believe me, like I'm going to explain it to you, but I'm going to do it in a natural way. I'm not going to give you tips because probably you already have a lot of tips, but you really want to learn the language. You want to speak it. Probably you understand everything that I'm saying, but the hard part is actually speaking it, right? That's what the majority of my students, at least that I know of, have struggled with. So let's go to the story. Yes, the story. Okay, so back in 2010, something like that, I don't remember specifically, I was learning French and it was extremely frustrating for me the whole journey. I was passionate about learning French, and yet after 3 years of being in a French class, I wasn't able to say much. I probably would be able to identify words, I was able to understand, but I wasn't able to speak the language. And I thought I was simply very bad. I thought I was bad at languages. I thought I just didn't have the gift. And that's one mistake that a lot of people make. They think they are bad at something. I heard a lot of people saying, for example, that they're bad at English. Like, oh, I'm so bad at English, or my English is bad. And I understand perfectly that feeling because I myself thought I was very bad at learning languages. After 3 years of being in French classes, the only thing that I was able to say was like, oui, je m'appelle Nathalie, and that was it. I wasn't able to even put a sentence together. So I realized that the method wasn't the best later on in life when I matured and when I learned how to even teach, because now I'm a teacher myself, right? I'm an English teacher, so now I understand how it works. But back then I was just a child. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was very frustrating. And then I realized, until now, like years later, I realized that it's true. It's not about me. It's about the method that I was implementing, or that they were implementing in my education. The problem was that they were teaching me grammar when I was a child, and I could have learned French in a more natural way. And they were telling me all these terms like indicatif, subjonctif, imperatif. These are grammatical terms. And you're teaching grammatical terms to a child that doesn't even know what a verb is. To be honest, back then I didn't even know what a verb or a noun or an adjective was. So going to this school or this class was very difficult because I wasn't able to understand what they were telling me. I was able to understand the language, but I wasn't understanding the concepts. And they didn't take advantage that I was a child back then. But then you will say, Nati, but I'm not a child, so I can't learn like a child. No, I understand. It's totally normal to learn as an adult as well. You're not too late. Don't believe that either, right? I don't want you to believe that you're too late for this, because you're not. It doesn't matter the age that you are, whatever age you are able to do this. So, going back to the story, I decided to quit. I thought I was bad at languages, but then I went to France for my 15th birthday, and my mom and we got lost, and I wasn't able to communicate, even though I had 3 years of French, right? And so there is where I realized, no, I do want to learn French. It's a beautiful language, but how is it that I can't? And when I went back home, I got in contact with a French teacher, and she was gonna tutor me. And I don't know how that happened, to be honest, how I was able to do this. But by the age of 16, I started again. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I wanna learn French. And she started to ask me how I was, ask me, tell me about a story, tell me what you read, tell me about a movie that you watched. And everything had to do with speaking. And I told her, I don't know how to speak in French. And she just said, well, tell me, how do I say this and how do I say that? I had some basis. I remember that I had studied French, but everything was in my head. It wasn't outside of it. I wasn't able to process it. And I'm sure a lot of you have the same situation where you go to a class and you're there with other classmates, you understand what the teacher says, you know you're absorbing information, yet you're not able to express it. You're not able to say it in the right way. That was exactly what I had. That was my issue, my problem too. Eventually, after 4 years, once a week, 1 hour only, I was able to achieve an intermediate level. Back then it was advanced. Now, because I really haven't been able to continue, now I went a little bit lower, but that's on me. That's on me. Basically, what I wanted to say is it was very frustrating, and I understand where you are at this moment, and that's why I wanted to make it real, just speak my mind. I'm not thinking about how engaging I'm making this video look and make just the 3 tips for you to take notes and that's it. I want to be real with you. If you want to learn how to speak English, if you truly are devoted to that goal, I recommend you look for somebody where you can practice a one-on-one session. It doesn't have to be a teacher. It can also be a native speaker in an app or a friend or something. And you start to find that space for that, just speaking with that person. And it has to be in an environment that is safe, that you don't feel that you're going to be bullied or that you're going to be laughed at, that it's a safe spot where you're able to communicate with somebody week after week. So that is my recommendation. Looking for a group of people, it can be a group of friends, or you go to a church or some kind of community where you are able to speak that language with other people and little by little learn and communicate. And another important thing is to be always listening to English. So like this channel here is meant to have a lot of material for you guys to be listening to interesting stories and interesting facts about things of the world, history, as I mentioned before. But yes, listening is key, and speaking as well. Reading is also very good. Reading is one of the best exercises you can do to acquire a high level of English. So anyway, this is my recommendation. I hope that it helps. It seems very simple, I know, but it's because it's very simple. It's very, very simple. But I wanted to start just by telling you that this is really the first step. Just having your foundation in grammar is great. That is important. But you also have to look for somebody where you can start communicating, even though it's very basic, even though it's a, hi, how are you? I'm fine. Whatever basic thing you can say. But you have to start by communicating with a real person that will listen to you and that you can receive feedback from. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see each other soon. Bye-bye.